All right. Once again, everyone, welcome to our webinar on business outsourcing to Zimbabwe. And Zen, I think you're sharing your screen now, and we'll get this thing rolling.
All right, sounds good.
There we go. So again, as I mentioned, I'm Darren Prine with Cloud Tech Gurus. We are a smarter way to source contact center solutions and outsourcing. And joining me is Zen Sithole with 263 Hub. Zen, hello and welcome.
Hey, everybody. How are you doing, Darren? Thanks for having me today. Actually, thanks for having Zimbabwe today. So
There we go. Love it.
yeah, very, very
Awesome.
excited conversation.
Cool. So let's go ahead and get started. Zimbabwe is a hidden gem that most people don't know about. And everyone I talk to, they're like, really? You've got perfect English speaking and comprehension with outsourcing to Zimbabwe? Because they were not familiar with that. It's new to them. And so this should be pretty exciting for folks to understand what we call Zimbabwe advantage.
Absolutely. Just a quick walk through our agenda for the day. We're going to discuss why Zimbabwe is an option, why you need to consider it. We're going to discuss the talent pool that we have there. We're going to discuss why it's such an incredible BPO destination, not just a call center solution. We're going to dive into some security and data protection because everybody wants to know that. And lastly, we'll be able to interact with everyone and just do a Q&A. During that Q&A, feel free to either type up your questions in the chat. And as we're speaking, by the way, if you do want to intervene by typing something in the chat, either Darren or myself will be more than happy to answer.
Excellent.
I am sure most of you are wondering, out of the blue, in the Indias and Philippines and Mexico's, why Zimbabwe? And I think in today's fast evolving business landscape, outsourcing isn't just a strategy anymore. It's a powerful canvas for growth. So on your screen, I'm just going to assume you're picturing a dynamic outsourcing destination that goes beyond cost effectiveness. We offer a rich pool of skilled professionals and untapped potential. So welcome to Zimbabwe, the rising star in the outsourcing realm. In this new era where every decision counts, we really want you guys to discover how outsourcing to Zimbabwe isn't just, like I said, a cost-saving measure. It's a strategic leap towards unparalleled quality, efficiency, and global competitiveness. So with Darren, I would like to say join us as we unravel the game-changing benefits that outsourcing to Zimbabwe brings to the forefront of your business. I am going to ask Darren a question. Darren, when was the first time you heard of Zimbabwe?
Well, actually, for about 2 years, I was looking for an alternative to South Africa for our clients that outsource. And obviously, there's challenges with outsourcing offshore. And I'll give you an example. Years ago, I had a credit card with Capital One. I had a couple of them actually with Capital One. But every time I called support, I would get support in the Philippines. And the English wasn't optimal. But the biggest problem was the comprehension, in that the agent would parrot back to me what I had said, but I could tell they didn't understand why I was calling. Inevitably, they would transfer me to somebody else, and of course, none of what I had discussed with the first agent transferred. So I had to start all over again with the second agent. And then after, I don't know, 6 months or a year of having these types of experience, I canceled all of my Capital One credit cards and stopped doing business with them because it was just too frustrating. It was a bad customer experience for me. And we obviously have some great outsourcing partners in South Africa, but sometimes with South Africa, English or our American English, or at least, or British English is kind of a second language. Sometimes in South Africa, you can get agents where they're difficult to understand. Maybe they have kind of a clippy Dutch almost accent, where it's difficult to understand. Some agents in South Africa, beautiful, lovely. You hear them, you understand them, it's wonderful. And others, not so much. So I was looking for an alternative in Africa where they spoke the Queen's English, where it was a nice accent, easy to understand, perfect comprehension. And so I looked after years, and then fortunately, I ran into you at that Call-in Contact Center Expo, and finally, I realized, okay, here we go. Here's the partner I've been looking for, and I've been thrilled with our experiences together so far.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I think that experience transcends the Zimbabwean ethos or the mindset. We are global citizens. We are speakers of the King's English, incredibly intelligent group of people right in the southern part of Zimbabwe, out of Africa, sorry. But I think one thing I wanted to highlight, Darren, is do you ever wonder why Africa's brightest minds often seek opportunities abroad? Well, it's not a brain drain. I think it's a brain exchange. And what 263 Hub and outsourcing to Zimbabwe is going to do, we're going to flip the script and create an outsourcing haven right here in Africa. I say here, I'm in Atlanta, but in Africa. Why? Because we believe African youth deserve to shine on a global stage while staying rooted in their homeland. Imagine getting paid in Africa for work you can do that's globally, competitive. And it's remote work redefined. And it's not just about outsourcing. I think at the call-in conference center, we heard about a term called insourcing, assimilating to your team. We don't want to have our agents just be a separate entity. We want them to join your culture, be a part of how you make decisions, be a part of the value chain exchange. And it's that insourcing cultivates local talent, proving Africa's future is not elsewhere, it's right here. I will give us a few things about Zimbabwe. We aren't just a business realm. We are also an incredible tourist destination. We have Victoria Falls, which is the eighth wonder of the world, the largest waterfall on the planet. Tons of people, celebrities, etc., come down to visit. But it's not just that. If it's not our safaris, it is our agriculture. If it's not our agriculture, it is just the general innovation of our country. I'm gonna give us a few couple of stats. I mean, in terms of the economic landscape of Zimbabwe, it's thriving. We have consistent growth rate over the past years, steady economic trajectory, providing a solid foundation for reliable and sustainable business operations. I'm gonna bring up the cost thing. One of the standout features is the cost effectiveness. Compared to many outsourcing destinations, Zimbabwe offers a significant cost advantage with operational expenses often being up to 60% lower than in domestic markets. And I am referring to lower than India, lower than Philippines, lower than South Africa. Our skilled workforce, phenomenal. We're one of the few countries in Africa that boast a 90% literacy rate, which means if you show up in Harare or Zimbabwe, everybody is speaking English. It's not mandatory. It is the language that we've all spoken. There are other dialects in the country, Shona and Ndebele, to name a few, but English is the most common language taught in schools and used in formal communication, be it the government, hospitals, or your business registrations. Language proficiency, like I said, we are English speakers. We're adept in business communication, ensuring a smooth workflow for our international partners. Our technical infrastructure, Zimbabwe's technical infrastructure is on par with global standards. 80% of the population has access to the internet, creating an environment conducive to advanced tech solutions, which I'll dive into as we go a little bit further into it. The government does support our business. They play a pivotal role, to be honest with you. Zimbabwe offers various incentives for businesses, including tax breaks and favorable policies when creating an environment that nurtures business growth and innovation. Data security, I'm going off the top of my head. 75% of companies adopting advanced encryption technologies are in Zimbabwe. Your data integrity is not just a priority, guys. It is a guarantee in this fortified outsourcing destination of Zimbabwe. It's very important to us. We understand that we are the back end to your business, and ensuring the safety and security of data and cybersecurity is just paramount for us. And last but not least, the time zone advantage. I don't think a lot of people think about it, but Zimbabwe is strategically located and aligned with major international business hubs. However, when you think of the United States, we are 8 hours ahead, 7 hours ahead, which serves to become one of the greatest advantages. While you sleep, our team can be getting stuff done. So as you wake up in the morning, jobs, tasks, calls, they're handled. If you have a 24-hour operation, we're able to be there throughout the evening, throughout the morning. You have hands-on 24/7 support from Zimbabwe. Also, we have a crazy youth that have no issue doing the work around the clock to ensure opportunities come their way. Darren,
Excellent. Yeah.
I'm gonna skip past why Zimbabwe real quickly, but I am
Yeah.
gonna just gems here and there as to what about the country that I really think is monumental, important, and how I feel like it will be beneficial for the purpose of the webinar.
Perfect.
All right. All right, the talent pool, the part everybody wants to know. So Zimbabwe stands out as a substantial source of talent, supported by a pool of over 500,000 skilled practitioners, professionals, graduates within our database. And I think I haven't had the opportunity to explain. I represent 263 Hub, premier outsourcing destination in Zimbabwe. We focus on BPO and CX solutions. And what we do at 263 Hub, using the talent pool in Zimbabwe, we have a database of up to 300,000 resumes, right? Extensive global experience, English proficiency. But when we allocate our talent pool to clients, we make sure you're getting the top 5%, not just in Zimbabwe, but in the world. We use Test Gorilla. Test Gorilla is a platform that initially gives out tests to candidates looking for jobs, and it allows it to streamline people into what they call percentages in the world. So we're proud to say that we actually offer the top 5% in any talent pool search that we offer using Test Gorilla. And having gained valuable expertise in the international markets, a lot of the people who work through 263 Hub and Zimbabwe have experience internationally and globally. If you're not aware, guys, Zimbabwe boasts a vibrant youth population. And I think Africa in general has a huge and rising youth population. 60% of Zimbabwean citizens are under the age of 25, making it one of the youngest nations in Southern Africa, youth population-wise. The youth in Zimbabwe are highly educated, with our 90% literacy rate, like I mentioned. But with us identifying with the top 5% of talent niche vertical, we're able to hold our candidates to a standard of international excellence. For those of you who are from Zimbabwe on this call, I think it's imperative we discuss the education. So Zimbabwe uses the British system, the Cambridge syllabus system, ZimSec. We now have IB World schools in our country, and most of the schools are now offering STEM programs, where a lot of students are focusing on science, technology, engineering, and math. And there was one hub I wanted to discuss that wasn't 263 Hub. It's the youth-led innovation hubs in Zimbabwe. Southern Africa is witnessing, guys, a rise of innovation hubs led by youth. These hubs foster collaboration, creativity, technological advancements, positioning the region as a hub for cutting-edge solutions. One of the people who are making great strides in this arena is a company called Uncommon. Uncommon.org is a nonprofit based out of in Zimbabwe from New York. A young man called Peter went to Zimbabwe, saw that, such intelligence, such opportunity, but they didn't have the infrastructure. So he built hubs in local areas, containers, 24-foot, 28-foot. He put computers in there and he got teachers in there. Today, he has single-handedly educated over 100 Zimbabweans who had no prior tech experience, who are now certified Google Cloud developers, who are now certified Java, C++, Python, Linus. These guys are really getting their hands dirty and they're learning. And I believe it's our job to give these youth an opportunity. And that opportunity is to put them in a competitive environment globally where they can compete and apply and work jobs. And I think outsourcing to Zimbabwe allows you to do that. But for your companies, once again, cost effectiveness. Instead of spending $200,000 for a developer, you're now looking at a fraction of that price.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and another huge benefit is with this educated workforce and with all of the various skills that these folks have, it's a unique opportunity with Zimbabwe where if I'll just throw out some examples. If a call center said, well, we need some people that have a nursing background or a skincare background or whatever it might be, pharmaceutical techs, whatever, it's not difficult for in Zimbabwe to actually find these folks with these background skills and to be able to bring them on and handle those clients' customer care outcomes. So, it's pretty unique. There's a lot of outsourcers where in different countries where, yeah, we need pharmacy techs. Well, we don't have any pharmacy techs. We have customer care agents, but we don't have anyone with that background. You're able to source people with specific skills like that, which is pretty unique because of the big talent pool you have available to you.
Is absolutely true. In the same breath, outside of the talent pool, and thank you for highlighting that we can find people in all pockets and arenas. Entrepreneurism. The Zimbabwean youth showcase a burgeoning entrepreneur spirit. Many young individuals are actively engaged in startups and small businesses, which 263 Hub can also work with as an opportunity to outsource by finding the best digital marketers, etc., out there. The technological prowess of Zim, we call it Zim, by the way, are at the forefront of embracing technology. With increasing internet penetration, young entrepreneurs are leveraging these digital platforms for business innovation and growth. Zimbabwe youth actively participate in regional collaborations, attending conferences like where I met Darren, and networking events that promote cross-border partnerships. Zimbabwe does have a parent board called the Contact Center of Association of Zimbabwe. Very, very dynamic group, and we are 263 Hub is a member of that parent body, which pretty much gives us guidelines and parameters of best practices, how to grow, how to learn, and obviously networking in the arena. I don't know if cultural diversity really plays a huge role in this, because I think the Philippines did it best. Someone said that the Philippines are Western because of the television they watch, right? So I feel like Zimbabwe is similarly, guys, culturally, we have an identity, but when you enter the country and you meet the youth, there's a neutral tone, a neutral cantonation. We're similar to most of these growing economies in terms of youth offering. And so the youth that you're going to meet are going to be speaking fluent English. I'm one of them. I think I'll lead with that. I'm an example of a Zimbabwean who's only been in the US for a certain amount of time, but the English I speak goes across the board. 90% of the people I know speak like me. I mean, 50% of the people on the call, if I was to unmute them, you would be surprised they sound just like me. And I think it's an offering that the world has been waiting for. I think I told Darren that when people find out Zimbabwe is an outsourcing destination, it's going to be a matter of time before we're bombarded, honestly, because the customer service experience that for the current clients that we have, we are not only retaining, we're adding to some of the repertoires that they're asking for, just because people can't believe that you can get an affordable offering with such quality results. Is it sustainable? Yeah. We have sustainable business practices that are increasingly championing sustainable growth. There's a growing awareness of environmental and social responsibility in Zimbabwe, and because of that, we do take steps to be a sustainable, to create a sustainable arena for young people coming in and going out working. I believe in India, for example, someone shared this with me and it really made me smile a bit. In India, at the call centers, they give their agents a bag of rice with their salary as a gesture. And I think in terms of sustainability, we're not giving away bags of rice in Zimbabwe. We do take USD cash, but we definitely will be creating ways to make it more sustainable versus just jobs that come and go. We want the youth to have a growth potential. We want the youth to have an opportunity to excel, get promoted, and eventually start their own companies. This isn't an opportunity to just hold people back. We're supposed to help people grow.
Love it.
Thanks, Jerry. Oh, the initiatives and intern programs. Allow me to elaborate. So I'm going to speak for 263 Hub on this case. I believe a year ago, MasterCard came to Zimbabwe to offer internships with stipends attached to it. What this did is it created experience. The 50 to 75 agents who ended up doing this internship with MasterCard got to put an international player as one of the experiences on their resume, which was huge. So what we decided to do at 263 Hub was offer a 2-for-1 initiative, where if you hire a regular employee for your FTE, full-time employee for your sector, we are now able to attach a university attachee to that person at what would be no cost, a stipend, of course, but the student then gets to get the experience they need to come out into the workforce with international experience. What do you get as a company? You get 2 fully dedicated workers for the price of 1, which simplifies the 2-for-1. And with that, I think it's going to be our way to catapult our Zimbabwe to the World initiative. Darren, I think there was one aspect to when I mentioned just helping the youth grow, I think by focusing on the African youth, we're not merely creating jobs. Like I said, we're sparking an innovation that will ripple across industries. This business is not about meeting demand. It's about fostering an ecosystem where African youth can become the architects of their destinies. And I think if cost effectiveness is put to the side, it's about cultivating a diverse talent pool that has fresher perspectives. I mean, anyone on this call can admit that the new kid that joined their company recently has some pretty cool perspectives, fresh ideas, and we're just trying to offer that opportunity across the board and make it globally inclusive. All right, the part everybody wants to know: does the internet go out and does the electricity work? The answer to your question is yes. As you can see above, I highlighted a company, Lande Mtande, which is, I believe, the second largest IT internet provider in the country. Underneath that, we have Join a City, a multifunctional eat, work, play location where 263 Hub and a few of the BPOs are actually located within this building. So Zimbabwe is at the forefront of technological prowess in outsourcing. Often an unsung hero, we boast a formidable IT landscape, fortified with cutting-edge data security and measures what I would say a robust technical infrastructure. Once again, the obvious question: are there power cuts? Not in the CBD, the central part of the country, the city. The government has created initiatives that make sure business stays on, stays vibrant. There's an unknown conversation that I'm about to have about Zimbabwe. I think about 20 years ago, we started experiencing what they call load shedding, what South Africa is experiencing today. Load shedding is where the government will take some of the power and handle it and allocate it to different parts of the country for different parts of the day. So Zimbabweans, being the innovative people that they are, we got in touch with the powers that be, and we introduced solar literally 20 years ago. Today, no one does this, but our Zimbabwe might as well be the solar capital, if not the solar city of Africa, if not the world. Everybody has solar. Nobody is in the dark over there. Be it the office space, the residential space, commercial space. Solar is the new norm in Zimbabwe, and where potential prospects would be concerned about stuff like that, it's a thing of the past. I highlighted the company Lande Mtande above us, honestly, because they introduced 5G to Zimbabwe. They are the ones who are catapulting 263 Hub to be the global player that we are today. They have allowed us, and they have shared their infrastructure with us. They share their best practices, their data security measures. And I think in this digital arena where the stakes are high, Zimbabwe is beginning to stand tall as a world-class center and BPO destination. Tande does have state-of-the-art encryption protocols, resilient cybersecurity frameworks, and a scalable technical ecosystem. Zim, I keep calling it Zim, ensures not just operational excellence, guys, but a fortified fortress for your data. It's not just outsourcing, it's a convergence of innovation and security. And through Dandim Tande, I know it's a mouthful. Back home, we just call it Dande. Through Dande, technological landscape, that canvas meticulously woven with cutting-edge cybersecurity measures. Like I said, guys, Dandim Tande is the AT&T or the Verizon of Zimbabwe. Everyone uses it. It's reliable, it's fast, and upon request, I'll be happy to do a speed test for anybody who would like to see how fast the internet does work. Any questions on
And
IT?
I would say that, what's kind of important. I always look at what's in it for others. What's in it for them is you're, at least with 263 Hub and probably others, you're on-prem. You don't have agents all over the place remotely that might have rolling power outages or those kinds of issues that we've experienced with offshoring. Your agents are in a central location where you have put in place all the measures to ensure that you have the power, you have the internet bandwidth, and it's up all the time.
Absolutely. And yeah, that is exactly the case. We are up all the time. And once again, because most of our team works around the clock, currently we don't have any downtime. Our office is always open. If it's 4 a.m., 6 a.m., 3 p.m., there's always someone in the office working a different campaign for someone across the globe. So we do have to have the internet constantly running. So when people say BPO destination, I think Darren and I think most of our audience here know us as call center people, the CX solution providers. With the BPO aspect to this, I think Darren made it clear when he highlighted that, be it a nurse or a pilot, an airline or a hospital looking for support, we can find it. Zimbabwe has a diverse talent pool. And currently, I can speak for 263 Hub. We do offer services for finance, accounting, bookkeeping, the customer support and service. We outsource customer service functions, including phone, chat, support to handle customer inquiries and concerns. We have an IT department that focuses only on remote IT services, but that includes help desk support, network management, system maintenance, and stuff like that. I could go through this entire list and share with you guys the different aspects of, be it data capturing or data entry, which is handling large volumes of data and processing tasks efficiently. A lot of companies need that, be it your mortgage lenders, your insurance verification teams. Tons of places require good quality data capturing, where AI is stepping into the game, by the way, where AI is stepping in, as you guys will see in 2024, when we actually host a webinar for 263 Hub and not for Zimbabwe, we will definitely dive into the artificial intelligence that we are creating for 2024. HR, one of the biggest ones is human resources. We do outsource HR functions such as payroll process, benefits administration, and the recruitment. Healthcare outsourcing, as you know, most Fortune 500s or healthcare organization frequently outsource those services, including medical transcription, medical coding, healthcare analytics, and it allows you to streamline your processes while ensuring that you're compliant with industry regulations. We at 260 Hub are HIPAA compliant. Through the CCAZ, we are Contact Center Association, but we're working on getting more of the other outsourcing agencies to begin to be compliant in these realms. Because 263 Hub is based in the USA, we are familiar with all the compliances that are there, but sharing best practices and tips amongst the BPOs in Zimbabwe will allow us to be collectively a strong BPO destination versus just one or two companies standing out. We want us all to be great, essentially. So I brought up medical billing. Go ahead, Dan.
Go ahead. I was just going to add a comment about, ultimately, when we think BPO, we think customer service agents or technical support agents or whatever. But, we could also think about outsourcing marketing for a fraction of the cost of what we would pay to have marketing in the US. Had to have employees and have marketing in-house versus having skilled people handling marketing that in Zimbabwe for a fraction of the cost. Virtual assistants, this is an affordable way for companies to have virtual assistants that are in all their meetings, that are on all the calls, that are assisting. Again, in a very affordable way to do that. And yeah, there's so many other areas: the bookkeeping, data entry, medical billing. But it's pretty amazing. So we can think more than just customer care. We can think of outsourced marketing and bookkeeping and other things as well. Virtual assistants with Zimbabwe.
Yeah, and let's not even go to social media management. Everyone wants to get followers. Everyone wants to get likes.
Mm-hmm.
It's essentially a place, a destination where you can come and get a package of everything you need, everything you want. Just tell us what it is. And I think the CEO of our company, 263 Hub, his name is Phil O'Nions. Phil will tell it to anyone. It is free to window shop. Check with us, ask us, Zen, do you have this? Do you have that? And it's our pleasure. I mean, and it excites everybody when we're looking around resumes and interviewing candidates. We definitely retain a lot of the interviewees that we interview, partly because just because you're not good enough for this opportunity doesn't mean that we don't consider them for other opportunities. And that allows us to keep a good database of qualified candidates. But like Darren said, if you guys like any of the imagery that you see in this PowerPoint, yes, that's 263 Hub marketing done at its best. I'm going to see if this video, okay, good, we do have them. So I'm sure a few of you.
Hiya, it's Layla from the Housing Disrepair team. You okay? All right, so it's just a quick maintenance.
So perfect. Did you hear that, Darren?
Yeah, the sound came through. And real quick before you get started, the reason why I was looking for and found Zimbabwe on my radar was I was looking for better English speaking and comprehension than the Philippines, and even if possible better than South Africa. And ultimately what we're showcasing here is that in Zimbabwe, you're able to get agents on par, or if you like the accent, better than domestic American agents, because we're an immigrant nation. We've got all kinds of accents that can be tricky to understand here domestically. Where in some cases in Zimbabwe, with the king, I call it the Queen's English, but King's English, it's very understandable, just as you can all understand everything Zen is saying here. So he's going to give you some audio samples, but this is just an example of the type of English speaking and comprehension that is available in Zimbabwe.
So thank you, Darren. For the sake of this exercise, I wanted to put in 20 audio files here and just run through them one at a time. Darren said if they like them, they will ask. So feel free to ask for samples of the audios if you guys would like to hear a bit more. I'm going to just run through the first one.
Hello, Charles. This is Tamia from 263 Hub Premier Outsourcing. I believe you attended our webinar on Friday last week on UTMs and effective attribution tracking. Please, can I confirm this is
Hello,
correct?
Charles. This is Tori from 263 Hub
Hello,
Premier
Charles.
Outsourcing.
This is Tamia
I
from...
believe you attended our webinar on Friday last week on UTMs and effective attribution tracking. Please, can I confirm this is correct? Would it be possible to get your thoughts on the webinar? We want to make sure we are addressed.
Before I go on, guys, we got a few people in the office who are currently on campaigns, and we got some quick recordings done. The purpose of this exercise is to listen to the neutrality of their accents, to hear the softness, the cadence, the ability to read a script, the ability to transfer a message effectively, the empathy in their voice, the understanding. It takes a lot when it comes to customer service. And I always, being a customer service rep in the early part of my career, I learned that it's not about me. It's really about putting the company on its best foot forward. So as I continue to play these, I just want you to pay attention to the fact that any one of these voices could represent your brand, could represent your company, and could be the voice of your customer service.
Hi there, this is Susan from 263 Hub Premier Outsourcing, and I tried to call you in hopes of connecting with you today because I believe our solution at 263 Hub can truly transform your sales process and drive remarkable results for your company.
This call for all council and housing association tenants just to check if you have any outstanding damages to the property that you have reported that still haven't been attended to, so that we can get them fixed and be sure to get you some compensation. Are you waiting for any damages on the property there?
That's two.
Hiya, it's Luke here. I'm calling from the Housing Disrepair team. It's just a quick maintenance call for all council and housing association tenants, just to check if you have any outstanding repairs that you've reported that haven't been attended to.
Hi, it's Molly from the Housing Disrepair team. It's just a quick maintenance call for all council and housing association tenants, just to check if you have any outstanding damages to the property that you've reported that still haven't been attended to, so we get them fixed and be sure to get you some compensation.
All right, cool. That's all.
Yeah. Great examples.
Thank you, thank you. And I think obviously next time we'll definitely put videos with the audios, but I think people can get an idea that if you have an army of people who sound like this representing your brand, I mean, take now, it's Christmas time. I can only imagine how many returns, complaints, you know, upgrades that are going to be going on in the customer service world of retail. Wouldn't you want to hear one of these voices dealing with your son's problem or your wife's issue or your spouse's issue? We really are trying to present a very, very relaxed and neutral voice and accent that we can offer to the world. Any questions on that? Or you cool if I go ahead, Dan?
Hey, Zan, I just wanted to say that these are better sounding representatives than I've ever worked with in my entire career. And I wouldn't ever want to hang up because it's so pleasant. I would just want to stay on with this person. They make you feel so good.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. That's a very nice comment. I appreciate that.
I'm with her. I'd rather talk to agents with that accent and almost that, you know, that empathy, that accent, that soft accent than a domestic agent. It just sounds lovely and you're just kind of glued to it.
Yeah, I just ordered gift baskets the other day, and the rep that was taking my order, I had to say, excuse me, at least a dozen times. And this is like the largest gift basket company, at least in the US, and it was so bad. And if I could have had a representative like this, it'd be night and day. So kudos to you guys.
Thank you so much, John. And I think that's the challenge here at the end of the day. We came late to the party. Zimbabwe came late to the party. And what we're trying to do is penetrate and be in specific markets and places where we can just make people happy with their calls that they make to their credit cards or the gift basket company. It shouldn't be complicated. And in due time, you will hear more of the Zimbabwean voice on your calls. So thanks, Cynthia.
Yeah, and when people are reaching out to companies they do business with, and they get an agent where, because of the accent or the voice quality, any number of reasons, they're having to ask the agent to keep repeating themselves. You know, at some point you think, this company's got disdain for its customers. Why would they want to put me as a customer through this? And you have to question their, you know, all right, I understand they're trying to save money, but at what cost, right?
Good point.
Hi there, this is Susan from 263 Hub Premier Outsourcing, and I tried to call you and...
Let me go on to the next.
Yeah.
All right, well, we made it there.
Yeah. So, you know, a couple things worth mentioning, and I see a question from Fred. You know, ultimately, you know, what the goal here is with Zimbabwe and with our partner 263 Hub is, you know, perfect English speaking, perfect English comprehension, but for a fraction of the price of the US. So US right now, you might be looking at anywhere from $30 to $45 an hour for a domestic agent these days. If we're looking at nearshore, you're probably in the $15 to $20 range for nearshore, like Latin America and other LATAM countries. And you know, obviously you have lower rates when you go offshore, but there's a cost usually with the English speaking and comprehension. And so what we're talking about here is an opportunity to outsource with agents as good or better than you'd get in the US. But you know, anywhere depending on the volume and the skills required, because remember, it might be a high level, you know, tech support, it could be skilled nurses, it could be any number of things, but you know, roughly in that $8 to $12 range versus the $35 to $45 range, or the 15 to 20 in Latin America. And in my mind, this is better than nearshore. It's better than every offshore destination that I've found, and the price you just can't beat. But in addition to the price, you know, their talent pool and their ability to source specific skills that you need, whether it be back office or marketing or any number of customer care, whatever you're looking to outsource or need help with. This is an affordable, skilled workforce. And I haven't found anything that can beat it. This is really unique. I think it's a unicorn in the industry. And that's why I'm so excited for this webinar.
How many languages do we cover?
English, French, Spanish, and local dialects as well, but English, French, and Spanish.
Okay.
There's a question here about the political, let's see here, the political scenario. I'm not sure who asked that. I may have missed it, but was there a political scenario discussed? Is the country stable? All right.
Yeah, so absolutely. The country went through an election, I think 8th election, harmonious election, and yeah, the president was re-elected. It was a free, fair, zero violence was reported. You can look it up. And the country's moving forward. We understand that there is a lot of growth going on the continent. There is a ton of growth, and China is coming in and doing their part. We are doing what we are working with the United States, United Kingdom in this aspect of trying to create a globally competitive landscape. And be it the ambassador of Zimbabwe to the United States, or ambassadors in the United States does have an embassy in Zimbabwe. They can attest to the stability in the country, the growth in the economy. And when you take the opportunity to call us, our agents are live, you can see everything as it's going, as you're communicating with the agents. There's rarely times where you hear an agent saying, I can't come to work because of this or because of that. COVID was the last time we ever had a shutdown, and that was for 2 days before the government allowed the workers for 263 Hub and other BPOs to be called essential workers. We are a very, very on it country. Our government is very supportive. And to answer the question about stability, yes, we are a stable country.
Any other questions, comments? Questions around skills, or maybe some potential use cases that we can cover?
And if there aren't any more questions, I mean, we're definitely going to share a company profile for 263 Hub with all the attendees to this. We'll share some of those audio samples with you as well. It won't be salesy, I promise. It'll be more informative and will allow you to just take a look at it, hold on to. And if you can, please share with your groups.
Yep. And yeah, so we'll share all that with everyone that attended, and we're going to share the recording with some others. And if you want to learn more about Zimbabwe outsourcing, or about 263 Hub, or would like a meeting facilitated with 263 Hub, you can reach out to us here at Cloud Tech Gurus, and we'd be happy to help. Zen, this was an amazing presentation. I think. Oh, did someone have a question?
Yes. Do you guys do shared or dedicated agents, or both?
Dedicated, more so than anything. We have about 3 floors in Joiner City, the building that you saw. Each floor can take up to 400 people capacity, and we are 300 per floor. And we are focusing on dedicated workspaces. Because we're in 2 different time zones, what we're actually doing is sometimes equipment share. where someone will finish their task in the UK in one location and the US agent will come in later. But for the most part, it is all dedicated agents. We don't share.
Okay, great.
And someone had asked a question about, will I get a random agent each time, or do you have dedicated one that will deal with my company? I think that answered your question, Nick. Yeah, we will be all dedicated agents. And each agent has a account resource manager, an ARM. So it's typically you're dealing with a supervisor to your agent in the case that you need reports, information shared, stuff if you need to complain about your agent, you don't have to do it directly to them. You do have a representative who watches over them, monitors and protects the identity of your company. What is the current capacity and onboarding process? What is your wheelhouse for new programs? Okay, great question. So is this about Zimbabwe or 263 Hub? But 263 Hub, currently we have about 110 FTEs currently employed. Our onboarding process is a 5-step process. It begins with discovery with the client. You tell us what you need. From there, our HR team will go and begin the recruiting process. We'll bring candidates towards you to take a look at. Once you've selected your candidates, it's a 5-day process. Once you've selected your candidates, the onboarding process begins. And for new programs, take Uncommon, for example, the company I was describing earlier. They're about to initiate a new program with us, and will be able to help us initiate new initiatives, new programs with cloud tech gurus. Every week, every month, Darren is telling me about some new opportunity or new software or a new company that offers something that can make us lean or better. So we're always advancing. And the very last part, I'll be honest, I was told not to say this, but we have 2 AI developers within our company that are making incredible stuff. I didn't even know this stuff was possible. So come 2024, there'll be a few press releases. We'll do a lot more in terms of being public and marketing, but we'll definitely share some of the AI steps we've taken, because just like us being an affordable destination, our artificial intelligence might be similar as well. So we hope to take a huge leap in that direction. Do we have access to VPNs? Yes, we do. I would like to have security over my data, and does your agent connect my systems from there? Right. So no, your agents do not connect. We actually do a direct from your computer, your systems. There's a software that we use that connects your system to ours. So we're never really in your systems. We're just a part of it. We never have full, like Darren, on-prem. A lot of our stuff is on-prem. So it's really just boils down to the kind of agreement that we make, how you would like to operate. We have some pretty smart people in IT who will probably answer that better than I can.
Yeah. There's options. There's also, if somebody wanted it VDI, we have a disruptive alternative to VDI that we like very much for ensuring your compliance and security policies with agents. So lots of options there in addition to VPN.
Absolutely. Well, thank you.
All right.
Yeah,
great job, Zen. This was fantastic. Thanks to everyone for joining us. We'll get the recording out to everyone a little later on, and some additional materials. And again, reach out to Cloud Tech Gurus if you'd like to learn more. Thank you all very much, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Super excited about the partnership. Thank you so much for the call. This was great.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.